Skid Row is a neighborhood of 50 blocks, which does not appear on any map of Los Angeles.
Skid Row basically, in a nutshell, is good and bad.
Skid Row is not all what people think it is. Skid Row is what people make it to be.
I mean, I've seen things here and experience things here that there is just no way. I mean, there's no movie, there's no book. This is a real life experience.
It has definitely a third world element about it.
I see people getting beat up every night. People getting robbed every night.
I see people get stabbed. I see people get hit by cars.
I've seen everything but a Learjet going down the street.
You never know what's gonna happen from minute to minute.
You don't pay bills, you don't pay house notes, you don't pay car notes. You have no responsibilities.
We're not here because we're homeless. Just less of home, baby.
My reality was that I was there. You know, Skid Row is the last house on the block.
I tell people this is my neighborhood. You know, I basically almost slept on every street down here at one time or another.
I think I would never ever live anywhere else. You know, Skid Row is my home.
As many as 11,000 men and women make their home on LA's Skid Row. About 2/3 struggle with mental illness, drug addiction, or both. But it wasn't always this way.
When I came to Skid Row, it was more like Skid Row as we identified, old drunks on the street. It used to look terrible, these old grizzled guys and drunks in it, but it was really safe because they were not very aggressive. Now we have young, strong crack addicts who many times are willing to take a chance of rolling someone to get their money to get some more crack. It's a desperate addiction. There's always been efforts to get rid of Skid Row. It is a war-in for people who are unable to live in the world. And they've moved Skid Row, they tried to move Skid Row again and again, but it just moves into a different area. Skid Row's gradually been moving east.
This has always been a place where we've had a transient population. 400 years. The railroads ended here. All new industries that sprouted up in California, produce, the movie industry, the construction industry, aerospace industry. People landed in Skid Row, and at one point, up to probably the mid-70s, we had a pretty extensive inventory of cheap housing. They used to call them flop house hotels.
But when big money developers began to revitalize downtown, the flop houses got new neighbors in penthouses and high-end lofts. There are not many places where the gap between rich and poor is as striking as it is here.
Literally, there is just a block or two separating those two things, and increasingly there's nothing separating those two things as gentrification's really overtaken Skid Row.
This is the new improved nice downtown. Back then we would have been robbed. And people didn't come down on this end of downtown because this is where all the heroin addicts live. And all this was dirt fields and burn barrels and they would cut your throat down here. People didn't come past Main Street. This was called the pits back then down here. The people are totally different. It's a whole new generation and era of people.
Skid Row's now just seen as potential real estate. It's really the ground that's here that people are interested in, and not much interest in the people who are on that ground.
Everyone who lands on Skid Row has a story to tell about how they got there. For many, it's the last stop after losing everything. For some, the fall is especially dramatic.
My life, prior to coming to Skid Row was, in some ways, like most people. In other ways, it was a little bit different. I was born in Compton. I grew up there with 5 brothers and sisters. Lost my dad when I was 3, my mom when I was 14. At that point, I moved out to Paris, California, and was an athlete in high school, a decent student. Started smoking weed, in high school at the age of 14 after my mom passed away. Yet and still, I was good enough athletically to earn a full scholarship to university, Iowa State University, where I was a national champion in track and field, and also was able to go and qualify for the Olympic Games in '84, where I actually competed and won a silver medal. So at 18 years old, obviously going into the Olympics a year out of high school was very exciting. I had a lot of emotion going on. 1988, I started to experiment with other drugs. I ended up, getting involved with cocaine, freebasing cocaine, and that was the beginning of a 20-year journey for me as an addict. I had lost everything. I had lost my shoe contract. I had lost my houses. I had lost all the financial means that I had, and was really on the street, sleeping on the street for the first time, and actually laying down on the sidewalk, and trying to close your eyes and actually go to sleep when you're outdoors. Those are the things as an addict that most people don't really talk about. So the first time I came down to Skid Row, I was pretty much horrified. I was amazed at the number of people that were down here. I was amazed at where some of the people had come from. Orlando Ward is a recovering person himself and a role model for me. When I got to the mission, I was able to work with Orlando, and I was able to see what recovery, 7 years down the line, what it looks like.
Because we believe so much in giving guys an opportunity to be of purpose and to work, 60% of the jobs here are held by program participants. That are guys that 30 days ago were in a cardboard box.
The Midnight Mission first opened its doors in 1914. Since then, thousands have passed through its drug and alcohol treatment program.
244 men occupy this space here at the mission, and we're going to go and see where I got my humble beginnings in recovery. This is the residence. When you first come into the Midnight Mission, everyone that comes in has to come through this dormitory first. So this was my bed, C3 up, and you can see that it's empty. This is just the way it was when I got here. I did a lot of soul searching in this bed right here. I had to make up my mind whether or not I was going to try to stay sober, what the program was for me, what I was really doing here. At 41 years old, what are you going to do? I mean, at that point for me, it was either you go forward, with the other lifestyle, or you try to pull back and do something different. Anytime you fall from grace, or you fall from lofty heights, if you want to use that word, it's humbling.
For OG, one simple daily task is a way to give back to the neighborhood he calls home.
I don't know. It's like when you start cleaning the streets, you get addicted. I know one thing, people know it's a need for it. But if a person can imagine a city dump that maybe don't get above your head, that's what Skid Row looked like. When you're out there and you clean up the streets and the people recognize, they always tell you that, thank you for doing it. That's another thing. People be telling you thank you.
Fed up that the city refused to clean the streets of Skid Row, OG took matters into his own hands. He got a broom and started doing it himself. His volunteer brigade can be found on San Julian Street almost every morning.
Oh, but you got classified there. Classified, get a job. That's what I'm talking about. There go your broom right there, man, to work hard with it. You go to work with it. Now leave that broom, I gave it to him. Yeah.
I had I've been on the run for about 8 years. I was in Buffalo, New York, and I got extradited back out here. You know, I lost everything, my woman, house, everything, and I was, messing around with drugs, everything. So when I got out this time, instead of going back in any type of relationships with anybody, staying with people and stuff like that, I really didn't even want responsibility. And so I came on Skid Row. I did a lot of things for money. When you look at my record, stealing, selling drugs, everything, I did a lot of things for money. And there was a time, hey, I could have bought me. You didn't give me some money, I'd go do that, you know what I mean? But right now, I'm more concerned about saving my soul, for real. Because once I come into realization, for me personally, there's something greater than myself, and something gonna happen after this go away, I'm a little more concerned about that right now. Some people are mental. Some people are just mad at the world or mad at their own situation. But telling you that you a failure, you never gonna be nobody, now you looking on Skid Row and some garbage. I think that, you can be kind of convinced that you ain't nothing. That's again why we believe in uplifting the people, making them know they special. Everybody is special.
Yeah, take a broom, man, take a broom. When you gonna shave me, nigga, get my little mustache ready, man. Well, I'm just looking all like I'm just homeless. Let me know. Watch out, let me get this for y'all, George. Yeah. I can't have a man sitting up in no damn trash while you're doing your thing, George. Don't get too clean now, cause you might watch out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is how we do it down here. You gotta be able to just, get it done when you can.
The area has always attracted outsiders. Some stay for a while others never leave.
I'm Albert Olson, but everybody calls me Bam Bam. I'm a punky ex-New Yorker. My story starts way back when I was a kid, unfortunately. In nursery school, I beat my teacher with a chair. I was thrown out of every school I ever went to. I've been hallucinating and hearing voices ever since I was a kid. I'm one of those cases where I'm bipolar, schizoaffective. I have antisocial personality disorder. I have PTSD. I have intermittent rage disorder. I have a major nightmare disorder. I also have a gender identity disorder where I'm taking hormones for a transgender issue for sexual reassignment.
I used to get my heroin down the corner there, a good spot too. Well, some of the best heroin at Skid Row. And crack up there, and the weed man's on the next block. I came down here for Halloween almost 2 years ago. This Halloween will be 2 years for me. So I spent a good 2 years down here, which I don't think I'd ever do again. I think I'd commit suicide next time, to be honest with you. Being it's so nasty and horrible, and everything's pissed and shit all over the place, it makes you want to do something with your life besides doing this, because this is really rough to do this.
I went into the service. I got thrown out of the service for bad conduct.
So one thing that really stinks is the fact it doesn't rain here. So it doesn't wash the urine and the poop away. So smell just gets worse and worse.
I beat up my mother and my sisters, and they took my kid, and then by losing my kid and everything else, I really, really, really lost my mind. And that was when I first became homeless, because I couldn't rationally deal with where my life had gone. I've been an electrician for all these years. I always worked.
Back in the mid-70s through the mid-80s, we didn't even call them homeless. Back then we were emptying our mental hospitals by basically saying, now we have the meds that'll help you, and you can also get on disability, so go forth and take care of yourself. The predominant population on the row at that time and continues to date are the homeless mentally ill. Obviously, many of them are also involved with addiction, and sometimes you can't figure out which came first, and that doesn't even matter. The fact is they've got mental illness, serious mental illness, because the institutions don't exist anymore.
Reagan closed down all of those places, and they took all the mental people and they gave it to society. And then where do we go? You either get committed and get locked in and smoke a cigarette 3 times a day and eat when they tell you, or You sit out on the street and you become homeless, and you can at least have your own life to some point.
In many ways, it's an open asylum for the mentally ill. We don't have closed asylums anymore, except for our jails and our prisons. LA County Twin Towers Jail is the largest mental institution in the United States because we no longer hospitalize our mentally ill, so we criminalize them because of their behavior on the streets. People were really questioning me, like, how can you open a place just for people who are crazy? Isn't that really stigmatizing? And I said, no. I think we're going to be just the most righteous, best drop-in center. We're going to have the best food. We're going to feel like a family. We're going to just make it a place people want to come to.
I left something for you over there.
That's how we grew LAMP, so that people had a place to stay at night. By like 2002, we had 100 employees. Half of them were members. We also set up our own permanent housing.
The tenant makes the decision about what services they want to participate in. So we don't tell them what they have to do. And for someone that has been living on the streets with mental illness and has been disenfranchised from health services, as they all have been, that this is so powerful that they can make decisions about their life, really often for the first time.
To get housing through LAMP, there are no strings attached, no mandatory drug treatment or required counseling. LAMP gains the trust of people long alienated by the system. The idea is just to get people off the street, then offer them choices about how to get the care they need.
There's been people that have been there for years. If that's how long it takes for you to get your mind together, then they're willing to work for it, you know? That's what we need.
I have came in contact with some of the most beautiful people that one could ever know.
Amen. 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 God bless the food.
At the Lamb Lodge, we're like a family. You know, we cook together, we eat together, we play cards together, we sing together, karaoke. I love Lamb because Lamb deal with all types of people. Diversity, I have never in my life been any place. I mean, all types of people, all types. When I decided to come down here in 2002, I saw people just like me. Depression was one of my biggest things. I've been cooking ever since I was 7 years old. I love to cook. I always say I'm not gonna cook. I do it anyway. Every time, I do it every time. I have an illness called neurofibromatosis, where there are tumors that grow in and out around the central nerve system of my body. I know my health is not good, and I know things that are going on with my body. I had my breast removed, dealing with cancer. So I'm trying to be strong, and I'm trying to be, you know, at wit, you know, and just enjoy my life, what I have right now. What I'm doing right now is loving myself, going to the doctor, taking care of my business. No matter how much pain I'm in, I got to do it.
I was homeless for 14 years by choice. It wasn't because I couldn't get in, it's because I didn't want to go in. And then finally, a steward from LAMP came to me and said, are you ready to come off the street? And I said, yes, and he made it happen. I come from a home, a very good home, you know? A very good home, but I wanted to live out on the street and be wild. And I learned. I went to the hard school of Knox, because that's what this is. Makes you very wise to life and people. And bullshit, I can read it right away. On one hand, I'm an angel. On the other hand, I'm a scoundrel. I mean, but that's bitter and sweet. That's what everybody, whether they admit it or not, I just admit it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a scoundrel, a devil with horns on one side and a halo on the other side. It just depends. So where are we going now? Did you get the keys?
No, over here. Because those cannot get in the street and these can. I was born in a trader house over here in San Pedro. My father was in the service in World War II. Then I was raised in New Mexico, where my grandmother was born. I'm from the Mangum clan. It's a rich and powerful clan in New Mexico. And I put 4 years altogether in Arkansas, and I put the last 20 years in hell. That's Arizona. I had my first cats when I was 3 years old even. I've been feeding these for over 5 years now. I had to pay $4.50 a month for cat food. I couldn't go get the cheap cat food, the cheaper cat food. I had to pay $2 and $3 and $4 a night for styrofoam containers. Antibiotics cost like $8 for just a few. Now, the thing that struck me worst when I saw this Skid Row was there was no clean, fresh water for the birds and cats. They let caustic solutions and all kinds of poisons go and psych drugs in the waters that the cats and the birds are drinking, and no clean food supply for them. You should know by now that there's a bunch of them in here. This cat food is a lot more compacted than the other cat food. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty, see it? Look, there's this is probably the beautiful, this is the one that had the Siamese kitten right here. Come on, kitty, kitty. And it looked like a rat with a smashed face. I got it to a breeder. So we hopefully will have more. Yeah, those kittens, the bigger ones, had a lot of red in them when they were born.
They had red in them?
Yeah, that means they can throw purple. Anything red, peach, blue, you made it blue, they'll throw purple kittens.
So if they breed with other cats, the cats are going to be born purple?
No, they have to be made with something that's blue, a blue masked Siamese, blue masked Himalayan.
Throw purple cats.
You stand back, buddy. That guy's a psycho. He's been on psych drugs so long, I don't know if he's still on them. They come out of his lung. He sits around and do nothing all day long and harasses me, sexually harasses me, huh?
He sexually harasses me?
Yeah, that guy right there. Don't start trouble with him. He's a psycho. He's liable to do anything, man. Look, lunatic. That man's always around at night and you're not here, so don't start nothing.
Well, I met Leanne through Lamp, but I met her because a guy was bothering her one day, and I don't like people to take advantage of old people. And he was taking advantage of her, so I intervened, and she didn't forget it, and after that, she just kind of adopted me as her fiance. And I've been her fiance ever since. That's been 9 years ago. But then I started to like her as a person. And I started to understand her, who she is right here, and her mental illness with the collection of trash. And she has storages full of trash, like 3 different ones, just completely piled up that she pay every month. Nothing but garbage. But that's who she is. And I take her just for who she is, and that's why she loves me, and I love her for that. And I accept her for that. I guess that's how I get my blessings from God. You know? Because in the beginning it wasn't like that, but I would defend her with my life, dude. Believe that. I would die behind this little lady right here. Life is a conundrum. You can believe that. So strange. And everybody down here knows that if they bother her, that they're gonna have to deal with me. So they basically don't bother her at all. They hate that she carries all that trash around. But that's what she likes, man. And it took me a long time that people, why you don't get her off the street and why you don't go, she doesn't want that. See, people don't understand. See, you have to let them be who they are. When she's ready to go inside, she'll go inside. When she wants to live on the street, you have to let her live, because a lot of times she likes to live on the street, even though she has an apartment. She leaves a trail like Linus everywhere she goes.
Even though his mother's well set, the money she gave him, he spent on drugs. And then these people give him one drug knowing he'll have to buy more. They keep psyching him. And he almost finished his psychology course, and he went 3 years of medical school. He had to drop out medical school. He'd crack-a-lacking it up so bad. Couldn't remember anything. And now he's thinking about going back to medical school, even though he has pancreatic cancer, which is really a sick move.
Is he a good fiancé?
Yes, he is, in a lot of ways, and he caused me a lot of grief. There's a pigeon over here, feathers on his feet, hangs over by the lodge. There might be some containers in here we can use. There, this will be for mine.
She was afraid. And somebody said, why is she saying all that to say this? Because it's some promises that we got to prophesy into the air. There's some promises. I prophesy, hallelujah, prosperity into the air. I prophesy to the heavens, and the same angel that kicked your butt, the principality, you got to get up out of Dodge, because you're not going to be able to set yourself here anymore. The Lord said, no. If I find 10 righteous there, I will not destroy the city. He sent those 2 angels down to look upon the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. And when he looked out on Sodom and Gomorrah, hallelujah, he didn't find no righteous there. But somebody say righteous Lot. Righteous Lot was a descendant of Abraham. There's some descendants of Abraham right down in the midst of here. That's why the brimstone from fire from heaven have not come to consume it. I'm telling you, and I'm speaking, and I prophesied in the air, your store's gonna get shut down. No more pornography. No more crack cocaine. Hallelujah. No more 10 cents. Oh, shut up, oh, sata. You ain't gonna be able to go up in the bathroom and take a hit. You ain't gonna be able to go in the bathroom and get a blowjob. We gotta be real. We all adults out here. In the name of Jesus, that beautiful woman selling her body for a piece of crack that's going to destroy her, because this flesh knows it will not go up into heaven.
Welcome to Skid Row. This is it. This is my home. I was sleeping on San Julian with a blanket and some real close friends, and sometimes I still go outside and sleep because it's comfortable. It's comfortable. Sometimes when I'm inside, it reminds me of why the hell I left. At the age of 16, I tried to have myself committed into a hospital because I wasn't interacting with other people in a healthy way. I didn't feel connected to anything. I remember feeling very depressed, and I thought, well, I just saved the world and myself, you know, a headache. And if I go in at 16, then I never have to come back out, I guess. But they wouldn't accept me. You know, they wouldn't even accept me. That's a bad place to be in, you know. I ran away from home at 17 and a half years old. And I actually got a job, paid rent, and went to school. Got married at the age of 21. I had my daughter, my first daughter, at the age of 22. Then I had my other daughter, and then my last daughter, my baby girl. Their father divorced me. At that point, I mean, there was nothing healthy about me. Everything was distorted. I was just so restless. I don't know how I did it, though. I don't know how I raised those 3 girls like that. When they said that my father had passed away, that hurt me really bad. I've lost everyone in my life that I cared about. They're gone. When that happened, I came to Skid Row. I developed a real bad drug habit, crack cocaine, when I came here. And I really didn't have a thought about it. I just, you know, when you're in Rome, you do what the Romans do, and everybody was smoking that, so that's what I was gonna do. But, that's what I wanted at that time. And I remember saying to myself, if I sit here long enough and keep doing what I'm doing, it's gonna happen. Because I just knew I was gonna go from Gladys to San Julian, and maybe I'd just die on San Julian.
God has been good to me. He's kept me safe all these years down here. And I've been through the most turbulent times down here, and in jails and institutions too. Part of my addiction is a drug addiction. Crack cocaine, also addicted to the lifestyle of downtown where no one judges no one.
I grew up in Compton riding horses. I've been riding horses since I was 3 years old. And people had horses in their backyards that they never rode. I just started going to give people horses, take them out. No, he's gonna buck you. I'd get him and ride him. They said, you rode that horse? I said, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I knew I had a talent for riding horses. I knew they had a liking for me, and I had an understanding to them. I want to know why you like cats so much. What do they do for you?
Well, they spark me.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Tell me.
I like the smell of them, the feel of them, and they spark me.
Okay, that's all I wanted you to tell me. That wasn't so hard, was it? That's how I like horses. They spark me the same way.
My dream would be to live on a ranch and be with horses again. Just to be around them and smell them and walk them and ride them and bathe them and teach people about them. When it comes to horses, I know my shit. Believe that.
And do you have children? Yeah, I have 5 living. 1 died inside me. I have 2 adopted children.
Where are they now?
One of them, they sucked him into the FBI. He was in Arizona last time I saw him. One lives in Kingman, Arizona. Michael Andre Norris.
Well, I did talk to a guy in Arizona, in Phoenix. Told me that, she told me, what was his name?
Prescott. Billy Salazar, Bill Salazar.
Bill Salazar. She called this guy, and I got on the phone. This guy answered the phone, and he knew who she was. And I told him that she was my wife, and he said, keep her down there.
So, it's kind of dead, though. Yeah? I've noticed, I guess, that the cops have arrested so many people, ain't nobody left on the street no more. This place used to be wall to wall. People up and down the whole block, man. You couldn't hardly walk up and down the street. Cars couldn't even pass. Now with all the cops and everything going on, everybody's either in jail or they all went to Santa Monica or Venice or Hollywood or somewhere else.
We don't need more jails. We need more mental institutions. And we need more doctors to come down here instead of more people passing out sandwiches. That's what we really need. And we need more understanding. We need the awareness that we're not all drug addicts.
3 things impact our central nervous system: the environment that we grow up in and that we live in, our DNA, basically, what we're born with, our genes, and drugs. Dopamine is the reward neurotransmitter. I mean, it's what zings and releases from our brain cells when we are sexually aroused, when we smell something good that we'd like to eat, when we smoke crack. A brain of a schizophrenic person, untreated, unmedicated, is awash with dopamine, more so than a brain of a person who doesn't have schizophrenia. The schizophrenic brain cannot filter out the noises, the heat, the vibrations, the other people talking to you. It's all coming in at once. So the medications that we give people for schizophrenia reduce the dopamine. Unfortunately, they reduce it too much, and they feel dead inside. They don't get to feel pleasure anymore. These folks wake up every morning and have to face another day being a stigmatized, marginal person in the world, and have to make decisions about using street drugs or using prescribed drugs. Street drugs are easier to get than prescribed drugs. Street drugs feel better. Prescribed drugs don't particularly feel better in their heads.
Everywhere there's mentally ill people, there's always a major amount of drugs because we need them. It's our medication. If we self-medicate, so be it. How else are we going to do it? What else would you like me to do? I can't even get my mother to answer the telephone. What am I supposed to do to get my medication? Except get drugs, sleep on the street, and be who I am. Try and make it.
In the absence of sufficient services for the mentally ill, the job too often falls to the police. On Skid Row, Officer Joseph is a neighborhood fixture.
Working by myself, like I said before, is very dangerous. I've been doing it for 3 years in Skid Row, and the reason why I believe I've been able to maintain is because the people know I really do give a damn about them. They really know I care. So they respect the fact that when I arrest somebody, I'm not doing it out of malice. It's because I'm trying to make their community better. They understand that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have crack pipes, needles, syringes, anything illegal on you, it's time for you to get off the block. I don't want anybody doing anything illegal near these missions. If you don't respect yourself, respect what people are trying to do down here. People are trying to get better.
Excuse me, hello, I'm the one that we just called.
What's the problem?
Police, I'm the one that didn't want to get up because I was smoking my medical weed.
If he's saying that he doesn't want you on the stoop, then you just have to do what he says.
I wasn't even on the stoop. I was on the curb right over there. I don't have, if I'm in severe pain, I'm in severe pain, I'm not supposed to talk to you like I'm coherent. The medication that y'all been trying to give me, I say that I'm allergic to it, and then When I say that, y'all fucking take me. Y'all don't do nothing. Y'all send me the new image, my nigga. Y'all send me the new image. Yes, my son has been in foster care, so I know what y'all do to people's children, and I stated that when I went to convenience store. If you ever, Alan Terry Buckham, if you ever want to know, your mommy told him exactly who did this and when.
She's okay.
I told Cassandra, but I don't know her fucking real name, because I'm not down here. My mother's maiden name. I gave y'all all this information.
I don't know whether I'm about to fall out right now, and I know this
Need an ambulance? Need an ambulance?
Yeah. I need an ambulance.
Are you going to pass out? You feel like you're going to
Yeah!
Okay, have a seat. We'll get you an ambulance.
Go ahead.
South San Julian, requesting an RA unit for a female conscious and breathing. Feeling like she's gonna pass out. This is San Julian Park. I'm sure you've been down here. Several gangs operate, primarily the Bounty Hunter Bloods. They sell their weed in here. Sometimes they'll even dress up the homeless in red t-shirts or caps or whatever to mark their territory, but they also let other gangs come in there and sell. And like I said, there's this gentleman agreement where as long as we don't make waves, we can all make money. But the people who suffer from it is actually the homeless people. Obviously, I can't know what everybody's doing when I'm not here, but I try not to judge them until I see them involved in something. So if they really come to me for help, job reference or whatnot, I help them out with that if I can.
In response to the intense law enforcement on Skid Row, some local residents have made it their job to watch the police.
My mother and my father both came to California in 1956, and they both got a job downtown LA working at Bullock's department store on 7th and Broadway. My father, he'd been living downtown ever since. But my mother, she lived out in the projects. The bad part of that was that I ended up hanging out in my mother's old neighborhood where I ended up joining the gangs. And so from there, I got into my addiction. My addiction landed me in front of a judge. He said, because you was doing robberies, he said that you were gonna have to go to state prison. So they sentenced me to 18-year state prison. When I was doing my time in prison, I became really more radical. I was like on the revolutionary side. Before I got out, you know, I promised all the brothers that when I get out, I would give back for all the wrong that I've been doing as a gang member and growing up in my life, right? So when I got out, the first thing I did was I came back to Skid Row. So one day, 2 bicycle security guards from the Business Improvement District, call it the Purple Shirts, had this woman twisting her arm up in the air, right? And they was about to break the woman's arm. So I said, hey, what are you doing, man? I said, let the woman's arm go. Is you crazy? He was like, she got a pipe. I said, so you gonna break her arm because she got a pipe in her hand? So the lady was screaming, I ain't got no pipe. It's an eyeliner, right? So she turned around and she opened up her hand. They let her go. I said, man, let her go. So they let her go, and she opened up her hand, and it was an eyeliner. So I had told myself, when I was at home, I said, man, this is something got to be done about these purple shirts. I'm still the general, so I told myself, I got to go get me some soldiers. While I'm, walking around and everything, I talked to one of my friends, and he told me, man, you need to go to LA Can. He said, they do that kind of stuff.
And so from him witnessing an injustice, a day later, he's at LA Can, going through leadership development classes, and now 3 years later, he's our lead human rights organizer.
My job is to keep trying to wake up the masses, and to keep, exploiting, what the system is doing.
I think right now my personal hero, and I think this will stand the test of time, is General Dogon. And the reason I admire him so much is the reason I admire so many people down in Skid Row is that he's really somebody who grew up down here and then now spends all his energy basically trying to defend the rights of other folks down here.
General Dogon did 9 years in the state pen. 6 of those 9 years were done in solitary confinement. Dogon is the individual that if you listen to the policymakers, if you listen to people with money and wealth and power, there's no rehabilitating Dogon. He's a career criminal. I guess you would have said the same thing about Malcolm X, that he was a career criminal, and now he's on a postage stamp.
Hey, today, May 2nd. In the evening time, I'm Dogon down on Skid Row, out on the prowl, looking for some either Hood News or, hey, smile, you're on Bandit camera. I saw the big picture, saw where I came from, and saw what's going on now, and that's what really helped me open my eyes. It's the fire that really pumps my fuel today, the reason why I get up and go do what I do every day, when I go work for LA Care. But yeah, that's me, man. That's about it.
As first responders to emergency calls, the Skid Row fire station is the busiest in North America.
Back in the mid-'70s, the city made a policy that Skid Row would be a contained, preserved area, much like an Indian reservation or a ghetto, where the unwashed and unwanted would be contained, literally.
Some of that, at least arguably, was done for humanitarian reasons, that it would be easier to access services if they were all up in the same place and so on, but it also fit neatly with the desire to keep people off of Bunker Hill and the redevelopment that was then happening to the west of here.
One of the other important things to understand about Skid Row is that it's not primarily a homeless population, and people tend to think it is. And it's really critical people understand that, because if you think of Skid Row as primarily a homeless population, that's one set of issues with one set of solutions. Then you build large shelters, and if you do it the way some people at City Hall would like it, you'd build them out in the desert. But that's not what Skid Row is. Skid Row is principally an endangered, low-income residential community. In the 50 blocks of Skid Row, there are 65 what we call single-room occupancy housing. Without this housing, people in the area would have nowhere to go. Who in the private or the public sector builds housing for a single adult whose total income is a $223 general relief check?
The majority of people in this community is either on SSI, Social Security, or GR. And so that's the reason why we call this community our home, because this is what we can afford. We had to go to the Community Redevelopment Agency and get moratoriums that stop the immediate conversion of low-income housing units into condos and lofts.
We lost 1,000 units in about a 3 or 4 year period from about 2000 to 2004. It took the city a long time to respond with a moratorium on losing that housing.
Gentrification is the process by which new people come in and they have higher income levels, and then economically the older people are forced to leave.
All these uptowners who want to come and have their sort of Disneyland, Manhattan experience, they have other options, the other communities they can go to. But the poor of Skid Row really have no other housing anywhere at all. Almost anyone would say to you, you've got to be crazy. Why would you save Skid Row? What is the possible value of saving Skid Row? If you think about it, if thousands of people on Main Street lose their housing, that's thousands of people for whom the city will have to build a massive and costly shelter system. It makes far more sense to preserve the housing the poor live in and let the poor continue to pay their own rent. So it makes good economic sense, not just good social and moral sense, for the city to, in fact, preserve the housing that's in the Skid Row area. There are a lot of empty lofts in the area. The city could convert that into housing.
Depending on who you ask, it costs about $16,000 to $24,000 a year to have someone in supportive housing and housing with the services that help them stay in that housing with a 85% a year retention rate. That compares to anywhere from $45,000 to $100,000 a year to run people through the emergency rooms, the jails, the court system, and so on.
This is the famous St. Julian Street right here. This street is famous. It's known all over, everywhere.
Mommy. Look at the guy up in the tree. Mommy, kitty. There they are, look.
Where?
There's some of them over there. That's a real high position for those little kittens to get. They never do that.
every 3 minutes you'll see a fire truck or a paramedic. This here is the unreasonable things that they do down here. They harass the people. They stop them for no reason. And they'll stop the same person maybe 5 times in one day. And this goes on all day long. They just decide, they see if you wear a white t-shirt and shorts, you're considered either a dope dealer or a gang member. So that's probable cause to be stopped, which is bullshit. Nowhere in the world, in the neighborhood, can you not stand in the street, not stand on the sidewalk, not sit on a crate. Nowhere but downtown Los Angeles is the only place that you can't do that. That you can't. You can go to this neighborhood and sit on a crate all day. You can stand in the street all day. But if you come downtown Los Angeles and you're black or you're brown, you can't stand on the sidewalk, you can't sit on a crate, you can't cross the street, you can't. What the fuck is this, a plantation?
For years, officials turned a blind eye to Skid Row. In 2006, the chaos finally caught the city's attention. 50 new police officers were deployed to an area less than 1 square mile in size. The Safer Cities initiative cost the city of Los Angeles $6 million in its first year alone.
The Safer Cities initiative that was launched in September 2006 had been on the drawing board since 2002. It was originally called the Homeless Reduction Strategy. It was launched with a vengeance in September of 2006, and it was an effort that was really touted by Mayor Villaraigosa, Chief Bratton, as a comprehensive approach to Skid Row. There were going to be 2 prongs. There was going to be a serious crackdown on what was called serious crime in Skid Row, and then there was to be a big expansion of services. Well, one of those things happened, and the other one didn't. The city put $0 into the services side.
To come in so hard with the enforcement without having the enhancement piece, getting the services that are necessary to make this a healthy community, was kind of backwards.
If you make me get off the sidewalk, where am I going? I'm homeless. Where am I going? When you tell me to go, where am I going? You're not taking me home. So now where do I go? I can't sit here, I can't stand here, I can't lay here, so now where do I go?
When you look at the crime that is occurring down here in Skid Row, when you see the drug dealing, the criminal activity, the prostitution, the preying on homeless, we have every right and every responsibility. We have a responsibility to address that. I stand behind the Safer Cities initiative because I believe strongly that we got to get a handle on the crime that's occurring down here.
You'd think that the mayor was, you know, the way he talked about Safer Cities, you'd think he was motherfucking Teresa. And instead of being the most fascist Democrat, the most, you know, he's allowed the fascists to take over his city administration, the Manhattan Institute. And as far as I'm concerned, from my perspective, Chief Bratton runs this damn city. And I don't even know why we have a mayor.
We have been slowly building up resources here, the 5th initiative in the Skid Row area, for the purposes of addressing public safety, quality of life, and protecting the most defenseless in our society, the many who are on the streets and in the shelters in this area.
Police Chief William Bratton made his name cleaning up New York City with the controversial broken windows theory of crime reduction. Safer Cities helped him implement that same policy in his new hometown.
The same tactics that was used in the broken windows theory in New York, Bratton brought that same concept out here. The same way he gentrified New York is the same way he planned on gentrifying California.
That theory, which has been widely criticized by academics and folks in the community, says that if you put a lot of resources into fighting very minor crimes, that you will then impact serious crime. Really, there was no serious crime to impact. They really just wanted to go after these low-level crimes because poor and homeless people are forced to break the law in their everyday life, right? You can't sit on the sidewalk, you can't sleep on the sidewalk, you can't sleep in a park. You basically can't live or be alive as a homeless or very poor person without breaking the law.
The consequences have really been devastating for the lives of people here, especially people with disabilities. In the first year, there were 9,000 arrests in an area that has about 12 or 13,000 people. There were 12,000 citations issued, most for things like littering or jaywalking. To someone who can't pay a $130 fine, that means they have a warrant for their arrest.
Arresting a homeless person for being on the streets is not a solution for their condition. Because the truth of the matter is there's no one, and I've worked in this field of recovery for some years, there's no one that I've ran into yet that has ever told me when they was in the 4th grade and they was talking about career day that they were gonna end up on Skid Row.
You know, everybody gives you jaywalking tickets. This way they get to check you for all sorts of warrants and everything else. So every time you try and do something, you get a jaywalking ticket. Right up the street here, I've had guns put to my head by LA's finest several times for smoking medical marijuana. After they realize all I got is marijuana and a marijuana pipe, and I got the medical marijuana card, they let you go. But that's after you sit there with your hands on your head, and these guys are all shaky, and they got their guns to your head, and you're on your hands and knees with guns to your head, 5, 6 cops, they all got their guns on you. Do I look like I got some place to hide a weapon?
And then we have this right here. God bless them when you need them. They never come on time. You may lay there dead or needing help for about 2 or 3 hours. They need to show up when someone calls and one of these women are being raped, or one of these men are getting beat up so bad because 12 of them done jumped, or you done found a dead body in the garbage can.
On this end of downtown, you can't be caught with the beer, but cross Broadway where the lofts are and stuff, every Friday night there's full of, don't take it personal, white people running around with drinks in their hands, laughing and walking their dogs, and crossing the street in the middle of the street like this. The police are riding by, waving and smiling, and I do mean literally. And they come down here and they see us, and boy, if you have a beer, it's like you've murdered somebody. They jump out, guns drawn. So it's double standard.
Why are you taking a crate from here?
Because they're not allowed to have them. It's owned by a company. You'll notice that we're taking a lot of crates these days.
And arrested me for a crate that was sitting by my house on the damn street.
He was arrested for an illegal shopping cart and an illegal milk crate.
I remember just the sight of 50 rookie officers walking down the street with white gloves on. They walked up to a encampment area and they told everybody up, get out, you know, and they lined folks up against the wall. They threw property all out on the streets.
6 policemen said they're gonna clean the sidewalk. So we went and threw everything. I kept asking. So we put everything in the street. I have been working, and I have head injuries and back injuries.
Exactly.
And I have to get myself
They
out.
don't care. They would sell their mother on eBay if they should get the money, right?
Watch it, we have live fish. Did you turn the fish over? We have live fish. Did somebody turn our goldfish? What goes around comes around.
Civil liberties are something that belong to people who live west of Main Street or east of Alameda and beyond Little Tokyo or in the South Park area. There are no civil liberties honored at all in the Skid Row area. And that's known by the city attorney's office, it's known by the mayor, it's known by everybody at City Hall, but nobody cares.
We saved the goldfish, but some of these people's stuff, I went and threw a whole bunch of stuff in the street because the police kept lying to me and said they was gonna clean it. And I threw those people's stuff in the street because they were gonna clean that sidewalk, I thought, we could get it back, and they scooped it right up. And that was all the blankets those people had. And they'd been tinning my fish and keeping them being stolen. They lost their blankets, and I had no telling what else. Because the police were standing there lying to me, said they was gonna clean the sidewalk, and they weren't.
The second anniversary of the Safer Cities Initiative. 18,000 arrests and 24,000 citations later, the community responds.
that was launched in 2006 against our community and not for our community.
This is what's been coming for a long time. For the simple fact that Bratton and his windows and Safer City initiative, it doesn't work. All they doing is jailing the people.
Today's Tuesday, November 18, 2008. This is a special meeting of the Board of Police Commissioners.
SCI is an unacceptable level of police enforcement that has no parallel anywhere in Los Angeles or anywhere else in the country for that matter. The citations have solely targeted poor people who cannot pay large fines, leading to warrants, arrests, credit problems, inability to obtain ID, inability to obtain housing.
SCI is racist and violent policing, and it's happening on your watch, and you gotta end it now.
Why do we all have to be subjected to your Safer Cities initiative? Because now that you cleaned it up, now, why don't you call your dogs off of us now? Call them off. They did their part. They've run out all the dope dealers. It's not that we're anti-police and that we don't want you there. It's just your policies. It's how you do it. No one polices you. You do whatever. You shoot whenever you want. You beat them down. You have officers, men, beat women down. Women, a woman. And you call us predators. The audacity of you. Who are the real predators? And that's all I really have to say. It's just so many atrocities that go on down here, so many. And nobody's addressing it, so the people, we have to address it ourselves. Because I'm a person who stands for the truth, and I stand up to them and speak it and tell it to them in their face. Damn if I go to jail. If somebody don't stand up, we'll all fall.
Skid Row is full of contradictions. It can be violent, chaotic, frightening. But it can also be a refuge, a place to get well, to find acceptance, to be free.
Skid Row is holy ground. We wanted to beautify the neighborhood, and we wanted to use the talent that we already had in our own community. To be able to do the mural as an artist, man, you know, I mean, that, for me personally, that was like beyond all the other stuff I'm doing, you know what I mean? Just to be able to, because that's what I would rather do. Like I said, I wouldn't want to clean those streets, just do me some art, because that's where I escape. That's where I find my peace. You know, this is about our pride, okay? When people walk past that wall, not just the art so much, but the messages that are there. We wanted the wall to speak to the people, too. You know, remind them who they are, you know what I mean? This particular pool here is the pool of Bethesda. When you read in the Bible, you'll read where the angel used to come to Bethesda, to the pool, and he would come in, and they would trouble the waters. Anybody that would get into the waters would be made whole. So this is how Skid Row is. You know, Skid Row is a place where people get their lives back together, they become whole back together. The angels are definitely down here on Skid Row. You know what I'm saying? We definitely got God walking up and down these streets every day. If you can't feel the presence of God, you gotta be unholy around here. You don't see no drug activity down here. It ain't costing the police, but we ain't gonna allow it. If I see you smoking crack right here, I'm gonna ask you to leave.
We have an annual event that we call the Annual Day of Pampering. We invite social workers to come in to assist people with public assistance that they may need. We have manicures, we have pedicures, we have facials, we have food, we have music.
And regardless of how good you think you might have it, believe me when I tell you, you're gonna need Jesus.
We invite the drug dealer to come, we invite gangbangers to come, prostitutes to come, drug addicts, alcoholics, convicted felons, ex-convicts, whatever the situation is.
I got jeans. You got some? Okay, this what you want? Yeah, two. These kind of sneakers kind of tight. Tight. Yeah, these are kind of tight. You like your jeans kind of big. Alrighty. You're so comfortable. Take yours. I think you want the box, or you want? You'll take the box. Okay.
I never did have a pedicure. I did my own feet. And that black, it's a wonder they got that Los Angeles black off of there. And this is the wart virus broke out right there. That right there, that can harden your lungs and kill you overnight. See what a nice tan I have right here?
You gonna ask Lover Boy to suck on your toes?
No, that would drive me crazy.
That's sexy. No. That's sexy. I wish I could stay like this forever, but I know, it's on a limit. It's a limit. What keeps me here is the people, the friends, the love, the kindness. One of the first people that I met at LAMP was Robert. He became my soulmate. He became my lover. He became my guide. I have this dream of being married to my guy. I want to walk down the aisle with a wedding dress on without, the lesions showing. That's one of my greatest dreams.
I take people up off the sidewalk and take them home and bathe them and give them clothes that I have. Feed them. Next day, shoot them out. Sometimes I let them stay 2 days, rest, just to get off the sidewalk. Because my days homeless, people took me home and let me bathe and let me lay up and sleep and eat in their house. And I have to give back. So I do. I feel I've done something when I've done that. I don't feel shit if I do a lot of other things. But when I help people that I know tonight, he's not gonna be cold because he got a coat on, I felt I've done something. I helped somebody in a real way.
Now I'm not on Skid Row anymore. I got my own place. It's insane. And I got my Section 8 and I'm off the street. I'm sober and I'm med compliant.
Keep on knocking, but you can't come in. Coffee pot fresh out the dumpster. Gotta love dumpster diving, man. I find such good stuff in the dumpster. You forget. You need things you would never think about that you need. You need dish soap and roach spray and cooking oil and salt and pepper and toilet paper and cleaning supplies and a broom and a mop. This is my lovely Walk of Fame. This got all my pictures, my certificates of completion. This one here is a certificate from the Claire Foundation. This is a 30-day primary detox. This one here happens to say that I'm transgendered, which was a tough one to get. And then this one is another certificate of completion for homeless court. I had gotten on total like 150 tickets, and what I had to do is go and check myself into getting these two, got me this, by getting into a program. So as long as I was in a program, the courts were cool about all the tickets I had. This one here, this is a picture of my dad and my stepmom. I like the view of the ocean and the hotel, but I don't really like their faces, so I just kind of stuck a thumbtack right through their head. A little picture of my kid when I was my baby, when she was a little tiny little tyke. Oh, she's my youngest. That's probably 2 or 3. This is the happy, cozy condos. This is the main house, and over here would be the guest house. I went from Skid Row with this tent, was on Skid Row with me, and now it's in my living room, and the cops can't come and tell me to pack up my tent. The cops can't check to see if I got a pop pipe in there, and because I'd be like, no, the pop pipe's over here. I would rather have a couch and a chair and all that, but then I have to sleep on a couch constantly. And then I think this just fits me more. You know what I mean? Because I've been in a tent for so long, so it's like I don't want to forget how I got here, and like this is the constant symbol of what I could be and what I could have been and what I was. This is my house. This is my house inside my house, which is the best house in the world. My humble abode.
It's not about what I did and what I've done. It's what the hell I'm doing.
I love you. I love you too.
And I'm still trying to become the best mom that I still can. It doesn't matter what age they've reached, I'm still their mother. Now the toughest job that I have now is taking care of me.
I can't come full circle because I never had a full circle in the beginning. I want to keep getting better, and I want to do things. So I'm getting therapy. This is the first time in my life that therapy does work. I know that deep down inside, there is an illness brewing. Oh, it's probably done boiled over at this point. I don't even realize it. But I'm scared to death to find out really that I'm a lot sicker than I thought. So that's scary. People would always say, you know what, just go to therapy, maybe talk to somebody. And you hear that so much, and you're thinking, but who wants to just go and, because that's all I did all my life was just talk. But see, maybe the right person wasn't listening. If Skid Row is a step away from the pits of hell, then thank God I'm not in hell, because that one little step makes a damn big difference, because this is the healthiest I've ever been in my life.
Good night, everybody. Be sure and get your porn on there. Get your porn on camera, guys.
Leanne is a part of my life because she's a very special person. She's very, very special and dear in my heart, okay? When you come into my little humble abode, Leanne's pictures are all on the wall, okay? And my friends come over, they go, who is that little old white lady? That's none of your business. And when Leanne is gone and not with me anymore, I think about that all the time. But she'll probably outlive me. You know what I mean? I'll probably die first. If I was to become rich, I would build maybe on 60 acres or something, and she could have her own little house, cats, as many as she can have, and all the trash she wants. And it would be fenced off from everybody, enough room for her to move and go about and dig and collect and storages so she could store all of the garbage. And because that makes her happy and content, and it makes me content when I see she happy.
Now, that cat's not even a year old, and it's probably full of kittens by one of its relatives. But it's got the mange, too. Does it look like got any pus in its eyes? No, I guess it doesn't. Oh, I'm better. I'm in an apartment now, but they beam electronic magnetic radiation on you. If you stay in there, you get weak. I just sleep in there.
I know quite a few people who lived on the streets down here as I did that straightened their life up. I know a lot of them that's still doing the same thing.
I was definitely part of the problem. I'm trying to be part of the solution.
I could go to jail and get a bed, but who wants to go to jail? I can kill somebody and get a bed for the rest of my life, but who wants to do that?
For me personally, I always tell folks that it's going to take us all coming together and doing something about it.
Whenever God dispatches angels into this realm, I sound the trumpet, and the angels can come to help the people of Skid Row.
Skid Row helped me, and I learned to help myself on Skid Row.
What did Janis Joplin say? Freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. So when I finally lost everything, that's when I was able to gain it back.
It's great to be alive today. It's great to be able to sit here and talk about recovery and talk about Skid Row and talk about all the things that I've gone through in order to get to where I am now, and I wouldn't change a thing.
Everybody wants to be loved, everybody, crazy or not. And that's about all I gotta say.
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong, they are weak, but he is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me, I know he loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me, for the Bible tells me so.
Danny Harris is maintaining the sobriety he began on Skid Row. Today, he is an assistant coach at Iowa State University, and he recently got married. OG still sweeps the streets every morning, and his 3-on-3 basketball league has a new full-sized court in Gladys Park. Bam Bam still lives in Section 8 housing. He recently reconnected with his daughter and is living with HIV. Linda is singing with a gospel band. She remains hopeful about her health and plans one day to marry Robert. General Dogon continues to advocate for the homeless through his community work with LA Can. Detroit finally got her own apartment in a building with supportive services. She's still a member of LAMP. Leanne was homeless for 24 years. In 2008, she moved into LAMP Lodge. She continues to feed the cats and birds of Skid Row every night. Early on Easter morning, 2009, KK and another man named Tommy Hayes were shot and killed inside a Skid Row residential hotel. KK was 49 years old.